Okay, thank you. Thank you. So our speaker this evening is Karen Stearne, Executive Director of Heart Niagara. Karen's community involvement includes looking for opportunities to support women's equality in both employment and mentoring programs. Her work in healthcare, research, and within the school system has given her valuable experience in privacy, ethics, and accreditation requirements. In her personal life, her work includes Niagara Community Foundation's Sunday in the Parks Fund, House and Homelessness Working Group in Niagara Falls, Celebrate Our Downtown, Dignity and Compassion Strategies, and community art installations. Wow, Karen, that's a lot. It's kind of exciting. Karen is passionate about food security and eating well. Tonight, she will talk to us about living well for a healthier you as she shares insights on eating, physical activity, and living well from her years of experience helping people become more heart healthy. Please welcome Karen Stearne.
Thank you.
And yes, and change our view to speaker as well.
All right. And I do have a presentation, and I think Jocelyn's going to put that up. Am I right, Jocelyn? Yeah, great. So First of all, just thank you for inviting me. I too have had a number of years with BPW as a guest. So I've been fortunate to come across many of you in different parts of my career, whether it's been myself or my husband. Um, because we've certainly been committed as community volunteers over our life. So it is always good to see people together and to find a way to gracefully age together. So maybe the Zoom thing, we can keep figuring out how to make us look younger because I don't know who the old woman is who keeps jumping in front of the mirror in the morning. So I'm always concerned about her, but she seems to track with me all the time. So tonight I'm going to talk about just living well and really celebrating yourselves. Um, but figuring out some ways and the swearing that I'm going to do through tonight is going to be extensive because I'm going to use the word exercise a number of times. And there is just absolutely no way to get around it. I can say activity, but it really is exercise. And it's one of those words that makes most people cringe, even people who enjoy working out cringe. So it happens to all of us. So uh, the picture on your left that you're seeing is equipment at our office. So I'm going to talk about that at the end. But for those of you that are not in Niagara, it won't be specific, but look around for similar businesses. And of course, the middle is really about trying to figure out how to eat healthy, and that measuring tape just lies. So just don't always get hung up on those measurements. It is not always our best friend, but you need to pay attention and you need to know what's good for you. And then as a community, we all do more when we do it together. So finding ways to get healthier together does make a difference. And really just having these talks is part of it because by reducing isolation, and increasing the opportunity to celebrate together is just part of that journey of being healthier. So thanks, Jocelyn. The next slide is really about Heart Niagara. And that really is the organization I've worked for nearly 29 years. And I don't know, Jocelyn, are you able to move the slides forward or can I? There we go. So, first of all, you can see that in life, we're all busy and mistakes happen. So, this is really working in our community, but apparently, I've decided to give it a new spelling tonight. So, we have been an organization since 1977, and I have been with the organization as paid staff since 1977, pardon me, 1997. Earlier than that, I did work with the founder, Dr. Stafford Dobbin, in a number of capacities because in my career prior to this one, I was in the hospitality industry. So we hosted a lot of events that supported Heart Niagara. Our foundation is really on community preparedness, so being ready to face an emergency, and that is through CPR training, standard first aid, knowing where defibrillators are. That is really the keystone of our organization. That's how we started, and we continue to provide education where we can. So tonight I'm going to specifically talk about aging healthy, but we do have a plethora of programs. Thank you, Jocelyn. Next slide. So the effects of aging on our muscles. So there cannot be a person on this call who doesn't get out of the bed one morning this week and go, "What is going on?" Because we start out feeling quite ready to face the world. And then all of a sudden, when we put our feet to the floor, things just don't move like they should or like we think they do. And I think that really has to do with that loss of muscle mass and flexibility as we age. And sarcopenia is something that people don't really talk about, but we do. After the starting at around 50, we start to lose muscle mass, about 2 or 3%. So if we're not paying attention, that actually grows. So the first few slides are a bit of a downer, guys. I'm just giving you the Coles notes on the hard facts and then why we can change it. So all of these things, this muscle loss, this aging leads, of course, as we know, to bone density being diminished. And we hear lots of people talk about osteoporosis, and I don't know anybody that doesn't have arthritis. So all of these things contribute to our aging, and we need to stay on top of it because what happens next, of course, is our balance starts to go. And I like how they call it balance impairments. It's just really you're standing up and then you're not. So our mobility becomes more limited and our frustration, which makes our world smaller because we just aren't as prepared to try as many things, do as many things. You hear lots of people talk about a fall, and that changed everything in their life because they lost their independence. Thanks very much, Jocelyn. So, of course, those other factors of that aging piece raise their ugly head, and that's hypertension, type 2 diabetes, and higher cholesterol levels. So, if I could just say that if you've gone to your doctor and these are factors within your life, and she, they have put you on medication, it is not the worst thing in the world. I used to say to my father, you don't become a drug addict taking, blood pressure medication. So stay on your medications, get yourself healthy because the better you feel, the more you'll do. And not to get hung up on the labels of these chronic diseases, but get ahead of them and pay attention. And so not to be concerned and if you're on more than one blood pressure medicine, it's fine. These things, no one ever says to a type 1 diabetic, "Oh, I can't believe you're still on insulin." So think about it. Our brains and our minds have let us believe that the right thing for a type 1 diabetic is insulin because it helps them survive. So why is it that as we age, we think, "Oh, there must be something wrong"? So really just stay on your medications. If you think you want to go off them, speak with your healthcare provider because it's a critical piece of staying healthy, is staying with your medication well managed. Thank you. Next slide. Yeah, I can't. So of course, then you start to hear the next stage after these is arrhythmia. Then they talk, everyone talks and knows someone who's ended up with a blood clot and has had a stroke. All of these things are because of this decreased elasticity in our arteries. So you thought the other parts of you were sagging and there was some elasticity missing? Well, there's some elasticity gone in your arteries also. So sadly, we can't fix it all, but we can do more together and reduce our risk of atherosclerosis. Next slide. And of course, there is that insulin resistance. So for many people, as we age, you see this um, shape change in the middle, and that's that visceral fat that you seem to get. Lots of that is insulin resistance. There's lots of research on this. And this is a battle that I hear time and time again. I can't believe I'm eating less, I'm exercising more. I feel like I'm a rabbit. It's all I'm having, and nothing's happening. Aging is not always for the weak. Let me tell you, you got to be a full-time warrior to age, and there is going to be, your body just shifts. So, looking at how to manage that better and how to manage your glucose is one thing for sure. Next slide. So, of course, exercise is it. There is absolutely no quick pill that is going to make you feel better, but exercise will over time because you're increasing and improving your metabolic rate. You are going to improve your glucose, so you'll have that piece. Your lipid profile will actually change with exercise because what has happened, the elasticity in those arteries is really because the plaque tightens your arteries, which again is the blood clots, which is all these things, which makes your blood pressure higher. So actually, when you do exercise, you can still reverse some of those things. And it does improve bone density. It's not going to be perfect, but you know what? Need to really stay on top of the bone density, particularly for women, because the thing that ends up hurting us most later in life is that fall, that and the recovery and stuff. Not to mention, we've already had, a number of years of pain. We've raised our children, we've raised our husbands, we've raised our partners. So we need to reduce the pain in our life anywhere we can. And this discomfort that happens from the aging process is can be reversed with doing some functional strength training. And the mobility, so think about someone that you visited in a senior's home that is really starting to shuffle. And you wonder how did this happen? That is actually the flexibility in your ankles and your toes. Believe it or not, just spending time every day moving your ankles, moving them around, flexing your toes, keeping that flexibility reduces that mobility challenge and that shuffle, which also will reduce those falls and injuries. Many times that injury happens because we're just not lifting our feet. Thank you. And one of the best parts of exercise, so they tell me, is that it will reduce our anxiety and depression. I'm not saying to quit drinking wine, by the way. I'm just saying that there's other ways to manage uh, good. We live in the wine industry, so I got to throw that in to make sure we support local. But decreasing anxiety and your depression really, exercise can make a difference. And it's about the endorphins that your body actually produce. So that's really a great thing for you. But also, it reduces isolation. And there is a lot of research, and I think all of us know it coming out of COVID, what isolation can do to you. So, exercise with a friend, I can tell you it is tough to get up every day and make a decision to go for that walk or go to the gym or, do yoga or do sticks or do whatever it is, if it's belly dancing, whatever it is. I don't care how much fun it is. There is a lot of reasons you can figure out not to show up. It is harder not to show up when you got a buddy because as women, we are happy to let ourselves down every day, but we are not happy to let anyone else down. So find a friend, even if it's a four-legged one, who needs that exercise, because I can tell you your compliance will be way better when you're doing it for somebody else. It includes the kinds of things that exercise do also will improve your independent living skills down the road, far from where we are now, but all of that becomes an issue, comes an issue at some point of living well. We need to reduce the other chronic diseases, and all of this can make a difference because really, this is a huge word, revascularization, which increases the elasticity in your arteries, is possible. And it is possible with exercise because what we're trying to do is reduce the plaque in those arteries. Sometimes you can go to the hospital and have that done, but if you can do it yourself, why not? Thank you. Next slide. So, resistance training. So, you've heard more about this nowadays. It is becoming more fashionable. Resistance training for a long time, people didn't talk about, it, and that is about more intensity in a shorter amount of time. And what you're trying to do is isolate a muscle and work specifically. So, when you see some of these, um, even on Instagram, you'll see the where they have you do 10 times lift your arm this way. What you're trying to do is keep doing the same thing over and over for 10 times. What you're trying to do is actually tear down that small fiber in the muscle is what you're supposed to be doing because what you want to do is improve that muscle tissue because every time it repairs, it gets stronger. So there's a lot of research now that resistance training is really the best for muscle growth. But of course, none of that can happen without, consistency and not to go overboard. So recognizing if you're going to do this on your own, that you really follow the plan. Just because today you feel like you should do 40 reps or 40, do what it prescribes. If it tells you to do it 20 times, there's a reason. There's a science behind this. This is an area where you don't need to be an overachiever. Follow the plan. It really is good for you. But I'll tell you, thank you. The next slide. None of this is possible if you are not also eating well. And that's really where this comes. So, a couple of things that must happen to require growth is good nutrition. And that nutrition thing, I just saw a slide or something on Instagram recently that said, I didn't realize that in my 60s, I was going to have to focus on protein and count it every day. So, this is the new thing that everyone talks about, but it really makes a difference to improve the protein in your diet because what your muscle does when it needs recovery, it needs to start to repair and it needs that protein. And protein doesn't have to be a tomahawk steak. Protein comes in lots of forms, and we're going to talk about that. But also, hydration is critical. When you're working out, you need to be taking on water. And right after it, always have something that's a good carb, high protein. So even if it's a hard-boiled egg or a small amount of yogurt, or now they have protein bars and protein drinks, you can get 20 to 30 grams quickly into yourself. Give your body the nutrition it needs. The good news is that you need rest for that recovery of those muscles. And I guess all of us have the good luck on the rest because we try really hard to rest in small increments. And I don't know if everybody's sleeping 8 or 10 hours. And if you are, don't be a braggart. So that's the thing. I mean, as we age, also sleep is not as long, but we need to recover and rest, and we deserve to rest. Give yourself permission. And I think Charmaine can tell you that all the time, probably in her, is give yourself permission to rest, relax, and enjoy your life. Because all of those things together will improve the stimulation of that muscle growth and repair, which is what we're looking for every day. Thank you. Next slide. Again, you can go right ahead. I've already go over how important nutrition is, and I can't say it enough. Next slide. So then this fancy word macronutrient requirements, it really is much like when we were growing up and much like how we probably raised our kids. We had vegetables, we had a carbohydrate, which is a fancier way of saying some of the things we put on the table, and of course, the protein. And always putting those three items together. When they talk about fats, they're talking about some of the other components. So I'm going to go to the next slide. We'll start to break down each one of these. An interesting fact is that the Canada Food Guide changed their serving requirement also. So that's an interesting thing because they've realized what you need is a good combination. So carbohydrates, they get a bad rap all the time. The first thing they want us to get rid of as soon as we're supposed to be the other swear word, dieting, is, all the whites in your diet, which apparently includes potatoes and rice and pasta, which is hard, and bread. So looking at how to maintain the good carbohydrates, following exercise, but doing more whole grains. So switching out some of the whites for sure for a whole grain products is good, or anything that's enriched. Obviously, fruits and vegetables are excellent. With fruit, you have to still pay attention because, of course, even though it's natural sugar, it is sugar. So, one time just as an example, my mother-in-law, I mean, I came home to check on her, and her sugars were off the charts. I said, "Ma, what did you eat today?" She said, it was all good. I only had fruit. Mr. Taco bought me the pears because they just came off the trees from the farm. So he and I sat and I only ate half a basket of pears. I said, Ma, do you know how much sugar's in a pear? So thinking about the things, the fiber was excellent. And by the way, uh, eating half a pear a day is outstanding for you. It's good for your skin. It's good fiber, just an excellent source. So it always is great. So I'm not beating up on the pear, but the poor pear does have a lot of sugar, so you got to pay attention. And beans and lentils and legumes. So thinking about how we used to cook, making these recipes, cold or hot, with beans and lentils are an outstanding way to actually have a good carbohydrate, have a good protein and fiber all in once. And if this is in the fridge ready to go, people will go ahead and have it. It's an interesting thing to make it easy, and you don't have to cook everything from scratch. You know what? Canned products are completely fine in the beans. My own suggestion is always drain the cans of beans because the aquafaba, which is that kind of slimier piece that you see, that actually does help to give gas. And I don't know, as you age, you can get enough gas. You don't need to add to your problems. So rinsing those beans, but I'm telling you, if you have, you buy a can of black beans, they're rinsed in the fridge, just throwing a few extra on your salad and everything else, you're actually improving all of that at once in a very easy way. Next slide. So there is good fats. It is a good source of energy. We are using cooking oils. Lots of controversy around whether you should have canola, whether you should have olive oil, whether it should be vegetable oil, whether it should be a mix of both. As long as your product is non-hydrogenated, which means how it was produced, it is better for you. Olive oil, I think, is great on products when you're doing salads because you like the flavor. Some people like to dip it. It's delicious. Like anything, you have to have anything in moderation. I am personally not a fan of cooking with an oil, with olive oil, because I think it takes the flavor. So I've always supported canola oil because of Canadian farmers and canola. Some people use a combination of all of them. Some make their own. So just thinking about how you can use your cooking oil more effectively. I mean, there's even avocado oil. That seems to be the rage right now. Everybody's talking about because you're getting some extra benefits. Having nuts and seeds in your diet is exceptional. But again, uh, a, a, a palm size of a serving of nuts, because even though they're good for you, you got to pay attention. Also, you got to watch your teeth because almonds can send you to the dentist if you're not paying attention. But all of these things are great for you. There's also some good dairy products out there. So looking at including yogurt in your diet, it also can put some good bacteria in your gut. And really pay attention. I would say yogurt is the place to pay attention on the labels because you don't need any added sugar. So look for that plain yogurt and add what you want into it with your own nuts and seeds, your own berries, your own whatever, if it's chocolate sauce. But at least then you are controlling the sugar in your diet, which is what you're trying to do. And of course, meats do have fats in it. They're all good for us. but everything should be eaten in moderation for sure. Thank you. Next slide. So protein, that's the game that's in town, and it is the one thing you should look at. So in our house, I am well past 60, and so is my husband. And I try to make sure that we have at least 100 grams of protein every day, which sounds like a crazy amount. But fortunately for me, my husband's prepared to have two premium protein drinks a day. He has one with his breakfast. So that's 30 grams right there. And he does another 30 grams at lunch when he's at work. So by getting right at the 60 grams of protein right away and then yogurt every morning for breakfast, you're taking away some of the angst about trying to get on this all the time. And just doing your best to get what you can. But that protein actually will help you maintain your muscle. You feel fuller also. Protein is it does a good job. If you're a fan of eggs, have them. Worrying about if it's going to affect your cholesterol is only part of the issue. So thinking about, and if you are really concerned about your cholesterol, then go to egg whites. You can still get all the protein, and now you can buy them in a box. You can make as many as you want, and there's lots of fun recipes. Avocados are good because they're protein, but they're also a fat. Pay attention again. Another part of that combination for good skin, avocado, pears, and actually salmon is the other thing. If you look at some health and beauty diets, they're going to say to you, try to get those three items in 3 times a week. Obviously, people should be eating more fish. It's higher in those omegas. And if you can't get any of this omegas in your fish or in your nuts, there still is a pill form that's just good. So we don't have to be all things to all people. We got to figure out how to balance ourselves and how to keep it together. And sometimes you've got to figure out what to do. So with protein, I can never say enough about it. It does make a difference. Thanks. Next slide. So at Heart Niagara, we do have a program in Niagara called HeartCore. And that HeartCore program is that you come in for one-on-one coaching twice a week, and you're there for 20 minutes. You're on 5 machines, 2 minutes on a machine. So again, looping back to this resistance training, there's other places where you can get that resistance training, but also you can do some online if you're not in an area, but really trying to take those exercises that are critical to building flexibility, mobility, and that strength training for your core strength. Because if you can do that, it is that solid foundation for your whole body to be stronger and fitter. Next slide. So people talk about time under load, which is why people are asking you to exercise slower. So this slide is more complicated than it needed to be for you guys, but it really is. I wanted you to understand that people throw a lot of big words around exercise around. You really just have to be consistent. You have to be invested in yourself and figuring out what to do. If you're on a machine and your weights are fairly substantial, the slower you can go because you just want to get an isolated muscle to fatigue is what you're trying to do. So you can be done at our place, well, you are done. In 15 minutes, you've done your whole body workout from small to large muscle. So, and it's because of this time under load. And it makes a difference when there's a coach there who actually sets your machines, sets your weights, make sure you have good form because that's critical. So that's really about understanding that piece with whoever you're coaching with. Next slide. So muscle failure is critical. Again, I'm going like back to the very beginning. What you're trying to do is strengthen these muscles and build muscle. Nobody's going to be looking like a bodybuilder, but what you're going to notice is that when you're going to the store, you're going to grab that door that was hard to open and you open it better because you're stronger, which is really what you're trying to do at this age is be fit and stronger so that you can manage your own life and not have to look twice to have somebody else do something for you. Not that it's not nice to have everybody do other things for you, but the more you can do for yourself, the better. And the reason why muscle failure works, it's called this activation of this fast twitching fiber, which is that small fiber in your muscle that you're trying to tear down and build up. All fancy words, but it really is consistency and targeting those muscles that you're working on. Next slide. Obviously, the benefits of coming to Hardcore and at Heart Niagara, if you're local, is the fact that you get individual supervised exercise. Again, it's not even about that the coach has to know more than you. It's about somebody's waiting at the other end. We are, I cannot say enough times, we are more apt not to disappoint someone else. So even though your appointment's at 12:20 and you just finished a meeting at 12 o'clock and you have another one at 2 and you are over talking to anyone, you want 30 minutes just for you, you'll go because the coach is waiting. So we find that we have greater success because, again, women, we like to invest in other people. And even if it's the person we're paying, we're happy to invest in them more. So just thinking about what you can do. Look around in your own community, see if you can find a place that focuses on, high intensity training with minimal risk, because that's the other piece. As you're exercising, it is so easy to get injured, which actually affects everything. It affects your work life, affects your morale, and it affects how you'll be keeping fit in the future. So paying attention is important. And accessing just all the healthy lifestyle challenges. Um, it's hard to be all things to all people. So keep it in your mind. You're one person just trying to make it through, and you'd like to shuffle a little less when you get to be 90. Next slide. So here's a bit about our organization, but I wanted to remind you that we also, and you guys can do it in whatever community, find a fitness class to go to. It's one, you learn about other people, but you also learn those exercises. And again, it's something to do together as a group. And you're going to learn some techniques that when you're on vacation, we have lots of people who travel for the winter. So they take a bit of a workout with them and check in with us on occasion. So you can do that at any time. I'm not saying that we're going to make you do planks, but if you want to come, we have all kinds of fun exercise, including chair yoga. Everything is age and ability measured. So we look at activity programs and fitness classes and say, okay, let's try this. And then we make modifications. So getting on the floor, getting off the floor, nobody enjoys that look because we all look like a little bit like a beached whale trying to get up. So nobody wants that indignant moment where could everyone just turn the lights out so I can stand up? So finding a way to do that with some dignity for yourself that makes you feel okay because you don't want to get discouraged and you don't want to discourage. And we can laugh a bit at ourselves. You know what? We have earned every wrinkle and we have earned every creak because we've worked hard in our lives and we can be really proud of that. So I think some days we should celebrate some of those creaks and cracks, not just worry about them so much. Next slide. And then, of course, you guys are already on the place. So eating and doing well is a good thing. I talked to some of you in September that we were really thinking of going ahead and opening this. So we are going ahead and we are opening this cafe called Crowded Table Cafe. So it's at the McBain Community Center, but you can find a place in your town too. Our focus will really be about helping people pay it forward in life. And whether it's a bowl of soup or something else, we've found lots of ways to help people. So we'll be opening in January. So if you want to learn more about pay it forward programs to do in your own community, I am happy to help you with any of that. But we're building this whole cafe on a 20% staff and 80% volunteer model. So there'll be lots of opportunities for volunteer training around food handling or come for lunch. I hear the food's going to be good. Well, okay, that's only me saying it right now, but I'll just keep saying it because I want you all to believe it. The focus is really soups, salads, and sandwiches. Everything is going to be focused on the Mediterranean diet. And again, how to eat healthier, how to balance your day. There is activity classes there. We also are going to have a catering menu because this model would not be financially prudent without figuring out how to build in revenue. And we're trying to keep the prices as low as we can with at the center. So we will also have a catering menu. So if there's ever going to be a time when you're having a party and you want some trays of sandwiches or a few other kinds of things, we're happy to help. And then, of course, we're always looking for donations. But all of that comes together for us at Heart Niagara because we're looking at how we can do more as a community and do it together, reducing isolation by being more active, eating healthier, and eating together. So that's just a little bit about getting healthy. When you get the slide packet, there's very detailed notes under each slide. If you can't sleep, just go through them and start reading the notes. I can help you fall asleep, but it really is explaining uh, the disease that can happen in heart disease. And unfortunately, it still remains the number one killer. And, 50% of the people will die of heart disease. So if we can prolong that and be 95 when our heart fails, I think that's a good thing. Thank you.
Charmaine, you're muted.
Thank you, Karen. That was amazing.
Thanks.
Quite enjoyed that.
Good.
Do does anyone have any questions to ask Karen as a result of this?
How do we convince the people around us that they need to exercise?
Uh, so, Jocelyn, if you can put that in a bottle, you will be able to fund BPW International. Um, it really is just living your life by example. So we also are making investments with in kids, and it really is just leading by example. As you lead in your civic responsibility and your volunteerism, leading in your health too makes a difference. And I think sometimes it's really small change that matters. It's not doing it all at once and don't overwhelm people. If your child, so I teach a lot of cooking classes, and I always say the first thing when starting to move to a healthier diet is for goodness sakes, put the containers in the garbage before anyone sees them. People eat with their eyes. Oh, I don't eat that. So start by not letting them know some stuff in the beginning, because that really is in small increments. And it may just be, hey, let's park the car a little bit farther in the parking lot and walk an extra 100 steps. It doesn't all have to happen overnight, and everybody's going to slide back on one or two things. So, not to get overwhelmed, but it is, believe me, an ongoing process to move your family along with you at the same time. The one good thing is, it sounds like, and I guess that's my good news story, is I just became a grandmother actually 1 month ago yesterday. So our granddaughter is 1 month old yesterday. So we got to lead by example. You got to show that there's lots of healthy option out there, and then it's good to eat those healthy options. So I guess that's the piece.
Thank you.
I like that one.
A lot later than it was. It is. What time do you have?
Okay, any other questions for Karen?
It was terrible.
I have one.
Well, it's not.
I mean, it'll be a while.
I never have.
I have a question, Karen.
Okay.
Let me see what I can do here. What are the hours of your
Fitness facility.
Fitness, yeah.
So we see clients from 7:30 in the morning up to 7 o'clock at night, depending on the day of the week. So
Okay.
what we do is you book your appointments for the whole month on the month prior. So at the end of November, everybody has now booked all their December classes. And our
Okay.
fitness classes are booked also.
Wow.
Um, so that's the other thing. So we have found great success with some stroke recovery and a few other people, particularly when they're struggling to get off and on the machine, because this could be dangerous. So
Mhm.
thinking about this, if you have a loved one that could use some assistance, that actually we found to have a great success. And of course, with stroke, young or old, it does take some rehab. So we've had good challenges. But if you're interested in coming down, we do 3 sessions first, so you find out if it's for you. And
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I don't really have a question at the moment, but I probably should have, but I just want to say, Karen, you put this together so beautifully.
Oh, thank you.
It's just, you went from one step to the logical next step to the logical next step. Like I'm really impressed. Thank
Well,
you very much.
well, good, good. I'm glad. And like I said, the notes do go a little bit farther just to give you some detail. But at any time, if you email me, I'm always, can help source out the answer. I don't have them, but there's always smart people out there that do have the answers that I can always connect us with.
All I need is somebody to make me like vegetables.
Yes, well, that is, there's a lot of people out there that I work hard on them on that piece.
If I may, I learned last week that our taste buds change every 14 days. So
Hmm.
with a little bit of persistence and keep trying things,
Hmm.
it's quite possible that it will change
Yeah.
and you will start to like them. I
I don't
know.
think I dislike them as much as they're just a nuisance.
You know what? It's the work that people
Yeah.
get away from. But I also, so I make a chocolate pie and I make it with sweet potatoes and non-dairy chocolate chips. And people are blown away every time because you can
Oh,
go to get that no compliments butternut squash. It's already cut in the freezer. I take it out. I always rinse my frozen vegetables, put it in the microwave for 8 minutes. So it's cooked, it's hot. Throw it into my blender and then add 3 cups of chocolate chips, and then I pour it into a pie shell, and you have chocolate pie. And you're eating a
wow.
vegetable. So there you go. There's where I'm going to start you with, Anne.
All right. I think I'll have to try that. I do
That's
like chocolate.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did that actually at a cooking class. Um, the first time I did it, people were like, "What is she doing?" And I took it out of the microwave, I throw it in, and then I poured it in a pie shell because it firms up very fast. So by the time we were finished eating the dinner, because at my dinners you have a starter, a main, and then dessert, we were able to have a piece of pie. People were blown away by it. It's pretty funny. Yeah.
So that means you cook the pie crust first.
Yes, pre-cooked. Yeah, for sure in that case. But lots of people, I've seen it done just as squares as a chocolate mousse, and then they just cut it. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, if
That would
you're
be even
getting really.
better, wouldn't it?
So it's all fun.
That is fun. That really is fun. I like using the blender to cut down carrots and onions and celery and throw it in a meatloaf, eh?
Yes, there it is. That's another way. Get it all in there. Yeah.
So that's awesome. Anybody else, anything specific as far as exercise goes or food?
Just a comment. Karen, you never disappoint.
Oh, thank
You're
you,
a
Barbara.
fabulous speaker. You're always, you're just always so informative. The last talk that I attended that you were was speaking on specifically heart attacks and how it
Mhm.
presented differently in men and women and so on. And that actually was resulted in me going to my doctor and saying, you know what? Maybe we should check some things out. And we did. And fortunately, everything was fine. But
Good.
it is so important to be proactive.
That's
Rather
correct.
than waiting for something horrible to happen. But once again, this was, and I'm the world's worst eater. I love food, but most of it's the wrong food. But I have been taking notes like crazy. So once again,
Find some balance. That's all. There
yes,
you
thank
go.
you so
Well,
much.
thank you. And once again, I can't thank you all enough for inviting me again tonight.
Thank you so much for coming, Karen. Your message is valuable for each and every one of us. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right then.